illuminating white text appears that says, "A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away." Now, curvy golden yellow text stationary in the middle of the screen with stars flying by through hyperspace that reads, "Theory of a Blind Man." Golden yellow text begins to crawl from the bottom of the screen upwards. Episode 2, the live stream strikes back. After the separation of content uploads and live streams, this channel is dedicated to live streaming guests, gaming, proclivities and pondering of the fate of the galaxy. Darth Whistler reigns over these channels and his message will be heard with the help of many others presenting information for all to absorb. The text continues to crawl away from view deep into the infinity of space. For those of you willing to watch and listen to live streaming and participate in the chat, the live stream strikes back at a new upload channel with prizes and galactic credits to make you rebels come rich beyond your wildest dreams. But Darth Whistler is not satisfied until the triad of the Force has been completed, and so there lays another in wait deep in space and will soon be revealed. May the dark side of the Force be with you. As the last of the text disappears, we are left with stars flying by view in hyperspace, then fade to black.
Alrighty, good evening everybody. Welcome to Theory of a Blind Man. This is Will Work. No, we'll see for work. Why can't I ever say that correctly? Anyway, got the usual panel members here today. We got Jesse Anderson, Nicole Kada, and Dani Marie AUC. How you guys doing?
Good.
I'm great. How are you?
Pretty good.
Awesome. Let me get rid of the share window. Forgot about that. Alrighty. So, I don't know if Jason's gonna come or not. That's too bad.
Come on, Jason.
So tonight we're gonna be talking about social cues and how it affects us blind people, or people who just can't see. The visual social cues that we tend to get in body language and hand tuckers. Those are always fun. Hand tuckers. So we'll just kind of start off. We'll go around with everybody and get your thoughts on have you had any experience with that awkward moment of social cues? Like, have you ever heard someone talk and you could almost imagine what kind of body language they were portraying, but you weren't quite sure, so it creates this really awkward social silence?
Yeah, this is Jesse here. I mean, I guess even though I do have some vision and I can generally see, like, oh, if somebody is, leaning back in their chair or just kind of, slumped over, kind of bored, or, I can kind of see those types of things. But like seeing fine facial expressions and stuff like that, it's, definitely a little bit, can't really quite do that super well. And I think where that really comes into play is, it would be nice, especially during like job interviews or something, if I were to be able to, catch on to little, people looking at each other or little subtle things to kind of get a clue as to, like, oh, I thought the interview went great, or I thought it went terrible. And then it was like vice versa happened, that kind of a thing. But ordinarily I generally pick up on, the audio stuff and, those other types of cues pretty well.
Yeah, I think after time we all kind of develop that second sense as far as really observing and listening to people's tones and inflections and how they speak and the speech pattern, that sort of thing. We can almost picture what the body language actually is, because that's all body language really is, is the exclamation of whatever they're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So unless they just kind of grew up backwards like me, then hand gestures could mean something completely different in my head.
I mean, it's like all the little things. Like, I can see the giant gestures. Like, if somebody's waving, but like sometimes a giant gesture has a little gesture paired with it, like their fingers are doing something. And like that takes away from the meaning. So like I may think somebody's doing something and I'll say something about it, and whoever's with me will be like, no, they're doing this, and I'm like, oh. Just like a dumbass a lot. But yeah, lots of things like that happen all the time. And then of course do you think they're talking to you when somebody walks by and they're like, hey, so and so, blah blah blah, and you're like, hey, and then they keep going and they're on the phone or something, and
Oh my
stupid
gosh. I do
things.
that
Oh,
all
yeah, I've
the
done
time.
that.
When everyone's like, how are you doing today? And I'm like, I'm great. And then I hear them say something else and I'm like, oh.
That's
Not me.
just how egocentrical Nicole is about herself.
No, I do the same.
Everybody's talking to
Oh,
her.
it's
so-
happened. Yeah. Or,
just
you know,
feel like
you do that just as an excuse. The other way you can use that as an excuse to be like, you know, someone's just being super rude on their cell phone in public, so you just, you know, they're annoying. She's just be like, oh yeah, I'd love to come over for dinner. Yeah, how's it going? And then they'll shut up. That's pretty great.
Oh, it would be really funny if they were having a conversation and you kind of just responded with them, but you pretended you were also on the phone, and they're like, is this person having their own conversation or are they responding to me? Like, confused.
Exactly.
Them as well.
Yeah, and just so everybody knows, I'm gonna throw Nicole under the bus again. The echo that you're hearing is because of her.
You could just mute me, you know.
No, it has to do with the loop feedback that we're getting up from. It's like your speakers and microphone or something is selected the same. So I'm not quite sure how you have it set up on your computer, and then also in StreamYard. That's why I said to check it
probably
before.
play around with the settings or something.
It's not too bad, but just want to let everybody know. And also, Muddy Ya Blind Diva's in the chat. Blind Toad is in the chat. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for coming in. Oh, look, Nicole's in the chat, too. Thanks for coming in, Nicole. Blind Toad says, Nicole, you suck, bastard. So, anyway. Yeah, what are your thoughts, Nicole? Pick on you again.
I mean, I think for me, the most awkward thing that I've experienced is not knowing whether someone is going in for a handshake or not. And so I've gotten to the point where I just put my hand out and I'm just like, I'm going to put my hand out and you're going to shake my hand and you can see my hand, so...
Yeah,
Oh, I got
I've
a
done
good
that and I
one
have
for ya.
some, so...
I got a good experience I had one time.
Let the sightings come in for the handshake.
So my favorite story was, you know, it's like I said, I mean, I see the people, I don't really see necessarily some of the detail. And it was funny because the guy was wearing a long sleeve shirt, and so I didn't think anything of it. And I kid you not, so, you know, I met this guy, he's cool dude. And, but the first time I met him, I walked up to him and, you know, I put out my hand to shake. And imagine my surprise when I realized he had put out his hand, but actually, because he was actually amputated a bit. So I was like, I grabbed it and was like, oh, dude, like that's like a metal hook thing.
Oh,
I'm like,
that's
whoa,
badass.
okay, that's cool.
Surprise!
And you're just trying to play it off like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, how's it going? I totally didn't get surprised. I didn't shock the hell out of me that I grabbed.
The other
That
person
was
with vision
awesome.
would have seen that like 10 feet away, 20 feet away, like before they even met the dude. And we're
I thought
just
I
like,
handled it pretty well, but I mean,
Wow.
he's a cool dude, and he's like, I've worked with him for years, but it was just I didn't expect it, and I was just like, oh, that was kind of a surprise.
I would totally be wearing like a full suit of corduroy, walking around on carpet, shuffling my feet, and just shocking people.
Oh my god.
That's a good idea.
I wonder if they have static discharge, like something in there to help with it. That's an
Yeah,
interesting
that would
thought.
suck.
Well, that's like if I had, you know, if I like I had a friend of mine who had actually glass eyes and stuff, I would totally take him out and mess with people. I'd scare the crap out of kids on Halloween.
Oh, I would
Nice.
too. That'd be
Oh
awesome.
my god.
How do you, Blind Toes brings up a very good point, and this is kind of serious. How the heck would you fist bump someone with a hook?
Legitimate question.
Jab.
Yeah, it's like, what do you expect? Like, you stick your fist out there, and all of a sudden you get a clang. You're like, ow. What are you doing, man? Albina's in the chat. Welcome.
Hey
What's up,
man.
little albino?
Standing in the Wind is in the chat. Hello and blessings. You too.
Substanding.
Toes fist
Sub
bump.
Earth magic.
Oh, imagine like Blind Toes trying to high foot him, and all of a sudden he gets a hook in the bottom of his foot.
Oh man.
High hook, ding, ow.
Toes.
Oh man.
So, any other interesting experiences with that social queuing thing? I know we brought this up originally. Nicole, actually, the social queue was Nicole's idea, so she really should be leading.
Was it really my idea?
Yeah.
Sort of. Yeah.
I don't think so.
Well,
I don't
two of
remember
us
that.
do, so it's your
There's
idea.
possibly nonverbal communication that I was talking about, like how a lot of blind people, or at least from my experience that I've witnessed, is that they don't understand to look in the direction of someone's face
Oh yeah.
because they weren't raised to see that. Because they, you can't observe your surroundings and see that sighted people make eye contact, so you might not think that's appropriate, but it's still important to look in the direction of someone's face, well, their
Nobody
voice,
ever told them.
even if you can't make eye contact, because you don't want to be staring off into a corner, and then the person interviewing you is going to think you're just lost or not engaged,
I had many instances of that, talking to blind people at blind conferences and whatnot. So there's like a lot of people around. You're in like a restaurant or in the lounge area or in the waiting room area. A lot of I guess it would be blind from birth types, or like you're saying, the ones that don't know those types of social necessities.
Right.
But they're just like, they'll talk to you, but they won't turn and face you. And it's really weird. Like, dude, I don't want to talk to the back of your head. You can hear.
Yeah,
You can hear where I'm coming from, right?
Right, or talking toward the ground, and it's kind of hard because sometimes then especially if there's a lot of people in the room, it's harder to hear them because the voice, you can tell like the voice is a little bit more muffled.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, then at that point, it's like, who are you actually talking to when it's more than just you and that person?
Yeah. I want to say the very first, blind person that I ever met, like actual cane user and, everything, was in community college. And I want to say that was one of the things he did. Like, he would look away, and like the counselor we had there for they call it special populations, but accessibility office, whatever it's called now.
Oh, disability services, essentially.
Yes, that. For some reason, I can never come up with that title.
So
but
good.
I want to say that was one of the things that she was always telling him, like, look at the person when they're talking, like, face them, because you can hear, obviously he's capable of hearing where the sound is coming from, because it is kind of off-putting, especially for visual people who aren't used to being around blind people, and they're just like, this blind guy is so weird, he won't look at me when he's talking, you know. It's off-putting in a conversation. There's a lot of social things like that are, so.
Can you imagine that sighted person going to one of their friends who also decides, like, I really can't stand talking to that blind so-and-so because they don't look at me when he talks to me.
Yeah.
And they're probably just like, do you realize what you just said?
Yeah.
Earth Magic 7, welcome Earth Magic. Been a while. Hope you're doing good.
And it is important for people to let the blind folks know that that kind of stuff is inappropriate, to not be looking in the direction of a person's voice.
Yeah, I mean, and that's an easy thing for them to do. It's not like telling me to try and make eye contact with somebody. I'm like, I'm gonna pretend, but okay.
No, it's so weird because my brother tells me that I make eye contact with him all the time, but I don't know that I'm making eye contact with him.
You're just a really good guesser.
I guess so.
And how long
I've been
have
told
you
I'd be
been
pretty
without sight?
I mean, I've never been able to make eye contact that I've noticed. Like, I've never been able to see that well, where I can see if I'm making eye contact or not. But I've had decent eyesight growing up, and I'd say in the last maybe 7 years is when it got really bad.
Well, if you're able to maintain eye contact, that's pretty good for a blind person.
And I have nystagmus too, which is kind of crazy that I can
Same.
maintain eye contact.
Oh yeah, ditto.
Same.
Yep.
I got a video coming out on that Monday. So,
Oh, I'm so excited. That's gonna be awesome.
well, I hope I do it justice. So you'll have to let me know. He's like, I'm gonna review that video now. I know it. That laugh said it all. It's gonna be up.
Yeah, before I get too far in this, everybody in the chat, scheduled for after this show, I think I have it set for 8:15 or 8:20 Pacific time will be the after show for this. So it'll be a little bit less, structured. It'll definitely not be all audience rated. So it'll just be more of a free for all in the after show for whoever wants to stick around. So
Last one was fun.
yeah, it was. I'm glad we did that. It was really, really cool. Blind Ted says yes, same for him. He tries to look at the person as best as he can. Standing says she has a hard. Now this is an interesting point too. She has a hard time looking people in the eyes because it's too intimate.
That's fair in some cultures. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and to be fair, even like myself, like I'll look at people, but I don't like just like staring them down. Like it just feels weird to just like be, fixated on someone, like kind of staring at them. I don't like that. I'm like, yeah, I'll look at you, but I have to, kind of look away a little bit. And...
Yeah.
Can you imagine talking to somebody who's sighted, looking at you in your eyes, and you're not dead on, but you're looking at them.
Right.
Like, are you looking at my eyelashes? What are you looking at?
I think that's such a weird concept to think. Do you know if someone's looking at your eyelashes, or like if they're looking at your nose? Do you legitimately know? I don't want to know the answer to that.
Yeah, I can't focus my view in that much detail, so I don't know what that would. Yeah,
But I mean,
I can't.
Looking at their teeth, and they're like, "Do I have something in my teeth?"
Does a sighted person know that though?
Yeah, people can kind of tell where they're because if they don't
Yeah.
have the rapid eye movement, they can kind of tell where they're looking at. That's just like even foreign to me.
Some of those stupid questions I've just never thought to ask people. Like,
Right.
it's hilarious.
Like, if I'm looking at your face, can you tell what part of your face I'm looking at?
Apparently the answer is yes, Nicole.
And I've been told, and I've noticed it too, especially when I've started using VR more, virtual reality more, is I generally, because my left eye is dominant, and so I generally tend, like what I think is looking straight ahead is I'm kind of looking a little bit off kilter to the left.
Yeah. Also, that might have something to do with your nystagmus. I don't know if you know anything about null points and things, but
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's something to do with all that kind of nonsense, but
yeah, it's in my video. Watch it Monday.
there you go.
Oh, that one. Okay.
Shameless plug.
So all three of you have nystagmus?
Yeah.
That's kind of funny. So right now, everybody's looking at me with your eyes shaking like a tweaker. That's great. That's a great
varies.
visual I've got.
Those are good. Okay.
Oh no, that voice was so good.
Closing our eyes, okay?
It was so good.
Our eyes are
Okay.
professional dancers.
Anyway, we better move on from that topic. Not to get interesting in here.
Well, El Albino says he met a really good guy in a toilet and had a good conversation. I don't know what that has to do with, but hey, whatever.
Oh, okay.
All right then.
Did you make eye contact while you were using the toilet?
I thought that was a no-no. Maybe
Yeah,
you're
right.
supposed to.
Yeah, how's
I
it
don't know.
going
That's a
over
different area. I'm not a man. I'm gonna stay out of that. Oh, speaking of social cues, that fits right in there.
Oh,
Man.
okay. So for other totally blind or can't see enough vision types, can you tell generally if someone is speaking to your face? Like if you're talking to somebody one-on-one, could you tell if someone is looking at you in the face or the eyes? At least to the face.
For blind people, I feel like I can.
Okay.
I can generally tell which direction the person is
Yeah.
speaking in.
So here's an interesting topic that Standing brings up. She says that most people don't even look at her in the face when they first meet. They're usually staring a little bit lower. If you catch my drift.
Right.
I'm up here, fellas. Look, my face is up here.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
do you women still get that awkward moment as well? If you
No,
can
I
tell.
don't notice. I really don't notice.
I don't think so. I mean, I can tell if someone's like kind of looking down, but I don't think that's the initial unless they do it before they start speaking.
I've gotten the comments, so I know people look, but I can't tell. They could be talking at me and like looking at my boobs, and I have no idea. So, thanks, guys. Whatever you do, you.
That's weird. I don't know. I'm gonna pay attention to that next time.
Just gonna be looking for it. You're gonna have to report back.
Yeah. Just clarify every time they start talking. Like, wait, excuse me. Are you talking to me or
The ladies.
just check? Yeah, me or the ladies?
Nice.
Who are you saying hi to?
Right?
But yeah, no.
So
I
let's go
told
back.
this story. Well, go ahead, sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I told that story. I don't remember if I told it, if we talked about it here in the after show. About that time I was a greeter at a conference, and I was basically just like, "Hey, welcome to the conference," blah blah blah, and was telling people which direction their rooms were in, basically. And the one guy that came through, who's like, "Oh, I've been through here already. You already greeted me."
Yeah.
Just like rude things people who don't know you're blind tell you.
Yeah, it was in the
Because-
video.
Oh yeah.
yeah, it was. I couldn't remember if we talked about it too, because it's such a funny story. Like, okay,
People are
rude.
just rude.
Yeah.
So let's go back to the workplace type of blind people trying to pick up on social cues. What, if anything, have you noticed when trying to talk to somebody sighted at work? What is the one thing that you've noticed more so than not, as far as like those social cues go? Like, what do you guys feel like you're missing? Or someone in the chat earlier said mouthing words.
Oh, yeah, I can't say
Oh, sure. Well, right. Well, like I was saying earlier, like I said, if you're in an interview or you're in a meeting or something, and there's a lot of things where, somebody could be talking and, other people in the room might be, doing kind of like an awkward glance or like a smirk or something of like, oh, this guy's an idiot, like you can't tell really what they're thinking.
that.
Yeah.
And in an interview situation, especially though, like in normal life, it's eye contact and everything can be one thing, but like, and I think it is important to have at least some of that, especially in like the interview setting, because that does, convey in like the professional way of like, a lot of people like seem to get offended if you aren't looking them or they don't see it as professional. You're not taking it interested in if they don't realize that. So like we kind of have to do that extra part
Yeah.
to try to compensate for that.
That makes
Another
sense.
big one I think of is approaching someone. Like, if they're sitting at their desk, they might be on a call or might be working intently, but like I can't tell.
Done that.
So
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
when you go in there and you're like, "Hey, can we talk?" And they're like, "I'm on the phone," and I'm like, "Sorry, no."
Yep. I've been
like-
there.
So many little things that makes you feel like an asshole, basically. And I'm like,
Yeah.
"I'm sorry, man. I'm not that rude, I swear." But
My favorite is when they leave the room and they don't tell you that they've left. Like, I had a supervisor that would do that, and I'd be on phone call, so I couldn't always hear everything. And she'd just walk out, and if I had a question, I'd go in there and like talk, and I'm like,
yes.
well, I'm talking to myself.
Oh yeah.
I do that in my own house sometimes. I'll go in a room thinking somebody's sitting there, and
Oh, yeah.
I'll say the whole thing I'm gonna say, and then I realize they're not there, and I'm like,
I did
"Ooh."
that earlier today. I had a whole conversation with myself. Like, I went to tell a story, and then I was like, oh.
This
do
is
that
all,
daily,
all
too.
motivation for the next time you actually have to tell it. Going back to the conferences, there was this train of 6 elderly women, and the first, I don't think any of them had a cane now that I think about it. Anyway, they're all totally blind, and they were lined up in a line, one behind the other, with their arm on the person's shoulder in front of them, and just walking down. And each one of them would be facing a direction, saying hello, 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 hello. The whole time they were walking, I was like, this is interesting. It's like a blind centipede.
Well,
Cringe
six
reference.
people
And
is
every
too many for
nodule is
that.
looking for some kind of audio input. Hello,
Mm.
hello,
Oh no.
hello,
Yeah.
hello.
I mean, I have heard other people, and I don't know too many people. I think I've met one or two that have done that echolocation kind of a thing where they make noises.
Mhm.
And
I
it's
do that. I do that. I
fascinating.
do that with snapping. That's it. I
Mm.
don't do like. I don't sound like some kind of alien coming to eat your heart out.
I've seen videos that do trainings too, not for the snapping part, but just to walk and to
Yeah.
more acutely listen for
Mhm.
when like
Oh, there's
there's a
some-
hallway.
yeah.
Oh,
and things like that.
I
absolutely.
do
There's some
that.
really neat
I use
stuff
my
to it.
cane. My cane
That's
is
awesome.
great for feedback.
That's why I always use
Tap
the
the
dime
cane.
tip.
Makes sense.
Oh, and have
Have you-
any of you ever been to a like national conventions or anything?
Mhm.
Oh my God, it is so weird. You walk out in the hotel and I hear just this like in between sessions. There's like
All the
Yeah.
canes.
400
Well,
canes everywhere.
people clicking, people snapping.
Oh yeah,
I
it's
love
like
to hear that. Oh my gosh. I need
Yeah.
to go
I've been
to
to a small one,
convention.
but yeah.
But what people don't realize is that when there's so many people clicking, you don't have to add to it. You got enough noise going on as it is.
Right.
Everyone around
sense.
you.
You only need a
Makes
couple
sense.
people doing it.
Yeah.
I think that would almost be harder because there would be more what things
It
to
would be.
Mm-hmm.
more interference, shall we
I feel like
say?
it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That was something I was definitely going to talk about. Social cues, like how when there's so many people around you, there's so much noise, there's so many like people talking with their hands or body language that you're missing out. Like it's really overwhelming.
Can
Oh,
you
and that's
imagine
actually
if you were in
that's
like a
a-
sports arena or something, and there's
I
like
was
this,
just gonna say, yeah.
like
Go ahead.
there's something on the Megatron or whatever it is, the Jumbotron, and it's just words, and it says, "Do the whatever now," and so you're the only blind person sitting there. And the Jumbotron shows a picture of the crowd, and you just happen to be in the middle of the crowd, but everybody else
Oh my gosh.
everybody
I
else is
hate
doing
that
the jazz
so
hands, and you're just sitting there like a
much.
num num.
I've
Yep.
done that before and it sucks.
Right. Well, or even that's the other side of that too is like in a loud bar or a concert or something where if you can convey things visually like where you can barely hear yourself talk,
Yeah.
it's just I don't like hanging out in large places unless like if it's a concert it's one thing because you're generally just kind of sitting there, you're in one spot, but like I hate being in large like bars or
Oh yeah. Like
stuff like
clubbing,
that
I
just because
can't
it's
do
just
stuff
it's
like
so
that.
hard and I like to be able to hear myself
what?
think, let alone anything else.
You know what sucks about being a blind person in a mosh pit? You feel like you're going down a toilet drain.
Oh
Accurate. Honestly, I've been in a mosh pit.
I've only been in a mosh pit once, and it was on the outer perimeter, but that was okay for me. That was enough.
they're
just
actually
like-
kind of fun.
That's just
The
outside the
overwhelming
eye of the
smells.
storm.
The overwhelming smells though gets me. I can't with all the stale beer.
Oh, that's
I
bad.
can't.
Oh yeah.
Bad. Cigarette butts and weed and
Oh yeah, the weed.
Oh, yeah.
Always.
I don't
I
think
can't.
I've ever been in anything that crazy.
Yep. I was in a
I
mosh
wasn't
pit
in, like, the
once.
center of it or anything.
It's fun one time. Go experience
oh,
it.
that's a good one. Check this out. Earth Magic says, or on stage, when the solo comes to you, and the bandmates look at you because they are used to giving visual cues.
Oh.
That would be rough. It's like,
Yeah.
there you go, Jimmy. Hit the guitar solo. But you can't see their face for that cue.
Oh man.
Mm-hmm.
You completely miss the bar, and you're just like, oh no, I did
Yeah.
it again.
Or
Sorry,
anything
guys,
being
I'm
on the-
blind.
Yeah. Or I mean, like anything being on a stage where somebody's going to gesture to you and you just can't see it. Because like, I've been on stage in front of a lot of people too, and I'm like, I hope they know I'm blind because, like, literally, I know this was nerves, but just a silly little thing. I almost took the guitar cord with me while I was plugged in and just kept on.
Oops.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
That was more nerves than
Yep.
vision, but there's so much to trip over on a stage. So
Oh,
it's
definitely.
challenging.
I bet Chevron, Exxon, and 76 and Shell are all thankful you don't drive.
Oh yeah.
Well, speaking of driving, I have one for you. It was kind of funny because in high school, friends of mine and we went to a go-kart track, and I could see well enough. Like the first lap, I went kind of slow just so I could kind of learn the track,
Mm-hmm.
but I was able to see it well enough, and I actually did pretty well.
Love go-karts.
But yeah, they're really fun. But the problem is I was just totally wrapped in it. I was trying to get around this dude wasn't paying the slightest bit of attention, and I didn't see.
The red light.
I didn't see the flag saying this is your last lap. So I'm just cruising around. I'm going to town. All of a sudden,
Yup.
wait a minute. There's no one around me anymore, dude. So like
You
everyone was
drive
like
right
watching
through
me
the
do this
celebrity
victory lap. I
circle.
like took one extra lap. I was like, yeah, man, I didn't see it, but that was cool. I'm cool. I get to show off. There's a blind guy driving this go-kart.
Oh, I've never gotten to drive the really nice, fast ones, but I've driven some of the more like mediocre ones in there.
Yeah, no, these are the ones. They
Nice.
were. I don't remember. It was like at some place, some big go-kart thing in Montana, and it was like this big. They kind of looked like little Indy cars. They weren't like the little roll cage ones. They were
little gas cage, the gas
a little
car.
faster.
Yeah, those are fun. I've ridden in
was-
them with.
Yeah, it was pretty badass. It's fun.
So Earth Magic, and they are commenting about talking to nobody, like we talked about earlier. Like people were just disappearing. Now I don't know if you guys have ever noticed this, and this is going to dip into the supernatural realm of the blindness thing.
Oh gosh.
Nicole knows what I'm talking about. Have you guys ever had that same feeling where you thought you're talking to somebody, or you felt somebody there, but there's nobody there?
It's so scary, yes.
Yeah.
It happens to me all the time, and I've
Yep.
noticed sometimes too, I'll like whack the air because I feel like
Yeah.
there's something there.
And you'll
there's
knock something
nothing
over.
there.
That is so interesting.
I've done that so many times.
I've had inanimate objects happen to like I will literally walk into a room and be staring at something, swear it's a person, walk over to it and it's like a vacuum or something, Just so many times that's happened to me and my eyes will freak me out, or like I'll see something and I'll think something's about to fall on me or hit me or something and I go swinging my arm
If
around.
that could possibly be a nystagmus thing too, because
Yeah.
I wonder if because our eyes are shaking, we think that there is something there, but then they move back and forth, so it's like processing what we're seeing. Because I can still see light, but I am starting to get dark spots in my eyesight, and I sometimes will just hit the air, and I'm like, oh my god! But then I'm like, I saw something like a shadow, but I really think it's just me going more blind.
Yeah. Oof. I because of my nystagmus, I have actually seen straight things look wiggly. So like
Oh
of,
yeah.
think of like a progress bar in like a video. And it was like, I think it was Hulu or something, but it was like a white progress bar. And I was looking at it one day and my eyes were really tired. And I don't know, I guess I caught it from the right angle. And it literally looked like this little wiggly snake line. And I'm just like, oh God.
Well, that kind of happens where like outlines or lines might be distorted. I think it often happens to me more if like right when I wake up or something and I'm still really tired.
Yeah, nystagmus does get worse when we get tired or sick or all that fun stuff. Yeah. I struggle to tell if things are like lined up evenly too. So.
Oh yes. Yep.
One thing I was gonna talk about when we were talking about sighted people using visual cues because they're used to it, and how like you hope that they know you're blind. For me, I carry my cane with me everywhere now just for that reason. Even if I feel like I don't need it somewhere, I'm like, all right, gonna take my cane because I want people to know that I am blind. Especially when I'm like going to order food at a cash register. My family would be like, well, we're just gonna go in, you don't really need your cane. I'm like, I really don't, because I trust using sighted guide with you, but I want the person at the counter to know that I am blind, so if they walk away and I'm talking to myself, they can feel like they're a dick.
That's actually a really good point, and I didn't think of that until you mentioned it. But like, there are times where, if I'm around my neighborhood and things like that, I don't feel that I usually need a cane unless there's something really different or kind of crazy going on, like if there's construction. But a lot of times, if and this ties into it too. There's two parts to this. I find if I take the bus, I will usually use my cane, or if I'm in like a busy place like an airport or a mall or something, I will have it, just because that way if I'm walking around and I'm kind of like just aimlessly like kind of walking around looking like I'm looking for something,
Right.
it's more of like, it's not so much for me, but it's like, oh, okay, this guy, he's trying to figure out where to go. He's not just some crazy
Right.
weirdo that's walking around. But the other thing with the buses is I learned, it took me a little while to figure this one out, but especially on certain routes where you have there on a lot more busier streets, especially where people tend to loiter a bit more. I find that, especially I want to have my cane there because apparently what I found out is that there would be times where I would be out there plenty early waiting for the bus. But what would happen is I would be the only one there, or somebody else would be there, but they're waiting for another bus, a different one. And I could kind of tell that, this bus usually looks a little different because we have these bigger and smaller buses, depending on the line. Right. And I would see the bus that I would probably need zip right on by, and then I'd have to wait another half hour. What I found out is that having the cane, they would actually stop, because what they expected, or what kind of this unwritten rule that I guess I wasn't clued into, was that because the buses don't always stop on some of these intersections, because you have some of these people that loiter or just kind of hanging around and they're not really doing anything. And instead of stopping every time, they expect you to flag the bus down that you want.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, they'll keep going. And I'm like, because I would get so mad, especially in the middle of winter. I'm like, God, no, I got to wait out here in another. I would get so mad.
I would too.
Because it would be like 20 below and freezing. And so that's another case where even for identification, it can really be helpful. If not, even if you're not using it.
I need to do that more. That's my issue right now.
I'm still waiting for my all red cane.
Ooh. Did you order one?
I did. Like 2 or 3 days after we had last spoke about it, but it's going to take like 6 weeks. 6 to 8 weeks.
I'm going to have to wait for mine? I need to order that this weekend.
Why so long? Where did you order
I don't
it
know.
from?
LS&S.
Oh, okay. I'm going to order mine direct from Ambitech and
I got mine
see how
from
that goes.
Ambitech, and I got it in like a week or two.
They don't make
LS&S has Ambitech canes as well, so that may be what he ordered. I don't know.
They don't make the cane that I want.
What's
A
that?
lightsaber cane?
No, but close. Did you ever see there's a cheesy movie from the 80s called Blind Fury?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Oh, yeah. So, like, I want the blind cane where you can literally, like, pull a sword out. Like, the top of the cane is like a hilt, and you just whoosh,
Oh my god.
and you pull it out. It's like a
That's
really thin
tiny.
blade.
That
That'd be
really
badass. That'd be sweet.
Oh,
You need
I've
to
always
have
wanted
someone.
one like that.
You need to have someone describe to you Daredevil's cane.
They make, the thing is, like, I've looked online, they do make, like, walking canes, because those are generally a little bit wider for support, so you can actually fit the little ones in there, but you can get sword canes for, like, for support canes, but not the blind ones that I've found, but I really, really want one. So if anybody knows, I would totally buy one.
Just buy a Daredevil replica movie cane.
I have to look that up now.
That was the last movie, February 13th, 2003. It was the last movie that I visually got to see.
I saw that in the theater too,
Wow.
actually.
So it was his cane was
That's why you went blind, because you watched Daredevil.
something badass.
Wow.
Actually, the Netflix Daredevil series is really good.
It is.
That's
good.
what I
like that
heard.
series. It is.
It's way better than the movie.
Well, definitely. Bye.
It's so good. Especially with Kingpin. Sorry, but I digress.
My friends and family say I won't always need it, says Earth Magic 7. I don't understand, like, no matter what the visual, if you can't drive a car, you need to take a cane with you. That's my personal belief, because you never know what you're not going to see when traveling.
Seems fair. Yeah.
See, that's how I am with people too, because my family's like, "Oh, you don't need it. I can walk with you," and I'm just like, "But what if your eyes fail me?" And then they forget to tell me there's a curb, and I'm like, "This is why I have a cane."
And admittedly, that's something I even need to be better about, like, because even myself, I'm like, I don't need a cane here. And then, like, sometimes it'll get, like, really dark. I'm like, maybe I should have had it.
I only have like one person I trust to do sighted guide with, because there's only one person I've really talked to about it. Like, my family doesn't know anything about that stuff, so it's really just my fiance, and he's really good about pointing stuff out even when I don't need it pointed out. I'd be like, I saw that one, so proud.
Yeah.
It's just stupid. But But it feels so awkward to have a cane while you're also with somebody. Is that just me being stupid?
No, I
No.
was
It's
like that
it's
when I was
good
in a
because, like everybody
relationship.
else has said, the sighted people don't pick up everything that we need. So as
Yeah.
long as you got your cane going off to the right, at least that side's protected.
That seems
Right.
fair.
Well, what
Well,
I
if you do
noticed
right-handed.
Yeah, I
is
got you.
when
I'm
I
right-handed.
use my cane, when I'm with other people, I don't use it as well as I would by myself. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not properly using my cane. It's just pushing along on the ground. I might be,
Hmm.
sweeping it a little bit, but
Hmm.
Yeah.
definitely not as much as I would if I was on my own.
Well,
I've
and
seen
even
that though.
if I'm
Like
with people, oh, go ahead.
I was
My
just gonna
bad.
say there are different techniques. Because I actually recently been friends with this girl who she's missing one eye, so she is like severely impaired on the one side, and the other side
Mm-hmm.
is kind of decent vision.
Hmm.
So she literally will push her cane on the side that she doesn't have her eye on, and that's her cane technique, and it works for her. So
Hmm.
That's interesting.
there's more than one way to skin a cat, I guess.
Oh yeah, and if I'm in like with a group of people where I still do find the cane helpful, again, let's say you're going somewhere and there's a bunch of people walking down the sidewalk and whatever, especially during like sunset and everything, where like, oh, is there a little step or a curb there or not? Like, is there, am I
Yeah.
gonna trip over something, or is it just a pattern in the ground?
Ugh. Or bricks. Oh, bricks.
For me, it's
Right.
just little cracks in the sidewalk that I trip on the most, and it's annoying. And I got to the point where I don't even like to wear flip flops or sandals anymore. I feel like I just always
Hmm.
need to wear gym shoes because even with the cane, you never know when your toe is gonna get stuck.
That's
Yeah.
true. That's true. Or
But
the
yeah,
loose part of the
no.
flip flop.
Yeah. Fair
For me,
enough.
like
Yeah.
when I was in a relationship, I definitely did not use my cane as much as I should have because I was like, oh, this person will walk with me, and that was not a smart idea. But I feel like now I probably would. But one thing that makes me very self conscious when I do use my cane with other people is the sound of it. It's so loud and obnoxious, and I know it draws attention.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
I know, like, for me, I don't care if people stare at me. I can't see them staring, but I
Yeah.
know the people that I'm with don't like to see people staring.
Yeah.
I got walked into a telephone pole one time, and that was enough. I've never done sighted guide again.
Oh my god, that's terrible.
I've done sighted guide for people, but I'll never do it again. Not after that.
No, I've had a very similar experience. I was in seventh grade, and I dropped my cane, and my friend and we were going to chase after my sister. She's like, here, just take my arm. We went running. She let me run right into a flagpole. I had the worst nosebleed ever in my life that day. It was so embarrassing, and it was
Was
at
it windy
an
yet
event.
that day too?
No, it was not. And
Damn. Because I
she's
would imagine
with
this: you and your sister are running along. She's pulling you, and all you hear is this metal thing banging on another metal thing, which is the flag in the wind,
hmm
right? The little clip is
Well, that would
banging
have been
against the
helpful.
pole, and all of a sudden, a blind person goes, "Bang, bang," and your arms and legs stick out around the pole like a cartoon.
Oh no.
That would hurt so bad.
It was
That'd be
so
hilarious.
painful. And it was like a big event at the school too. So everyone saw my nose bleeding. They're like, oh, well, the blind girl's down.
I'm ordering my cane this weekend. You guys have convinced me.
Oh, what color are you gonna get?
I'm gonna get like
Purple.
mostly white, but I'm gonna get purple on the end, and then maybe like that highlights pretty like it's like a light blue. It's like a
Like
baby blue or something.
mine. Well, I don't know if mine's baby blue. Mine's blue and purple.
It's probably the same. Yeah, it's probably the same. We're gonna have
So
matching.
actually, I actually have a serious question about the colored canes like that. So
Breaking the law, breaking the law.
what?
Yeah.
We've talked about that. Yeah. Go ahead, ask your question.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, yeah, you probably know where it's sort of going, but like, I mean, I think they look really cool. I've seen them, but I know, like, it's like if you are, let's say, a driver, or if you're a sighted person, to kind of look for like a white cane, and like,
Right.
I wonder how, does that diminish any of, or I mean, I know you still have all your navigation benefits that the cane gives you, but as far as like
Other people.
sighted people awareness, does how much? I mean, does that really seem to kind of diminish that at all?
I don't
Ask
think
a
so. At
certain
least
color black.
also depends on how many like if you're in a heavily populated area, this is what I found so far in pretty much every state that I've lived in so far, that most people don't even know what the cane is for. You could stand out in a busy area and just standing there holding your cane up and just asking random people, what does this cane mean? No
Okay.
one. Well, okay, 99% probably won't know what it means.
Sure.
I can speak to the law aspect because I've been doing a lot of research on that for some posts. Every state has its own white cane law, and some of them specify white cane, some of them don't. So,
Oh, interesting.
Ooh,
I didn't know that.
Michigan.
yes. So, like I said, every state is different, and to really know, you'll literally have to look up your state specific
Yeah.
law and statute,
Okay.
and they're all worded so weirdly in some cases.
But those are primarily to protect our rights, though, as a
Yes.
disabled community, though. It's
They
not
are.
necessarily
Well,
that we have to use this, but
no, but it's also for drivers and things. Like the
Yeah.
law mostly pertains to drivers. So
if you
there's
get like hit by a car and your cane's
Yes.
purple and not white, they
Yes.
could probably get away with it.
it's
in
possible
certain
some skeevy lawyer would try
Yeah.
and nitpick that law apart. So
Right,
that's
yeah.
why I am going to leave white on my cane just in case, because
I'm not.
you don't care. I know it's cool. You do. You. You're rebel.
No, I mean that's just because I've seen them several times and like I think they look cool, but I've always sort of had that, I've kind of wondered. It's like, well, people have a hard enough time understanding blindness and the cane
Yeah.
and all that stuff as it is,
Yeah.
and then
Let's
if you get a
confuse
bunch
them
of
some
people
more.
throwing out like
purple
rainbow
one.
colored canes, and they're like, wait a minute, I thought canes were supposed to be white. Is this something totally different or?
Actually, something Jason mentioned last time we were all chatting about canes and stuff, and he's got, I don't know if his whole cane is blue or if he's just got blue on his cane, but he said it makes for a good talking point because it
Yeah.
makes it fun and approachable, so people can be like, "Oh, what does the blue mean?" Like, and
I
you
got
can,
would-
you
so much attention for my purple cane. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So many people came up to me when I got that cane that I
Yeah.
wouldn't even have talked to. They're like, oh, "Your cane is so cool. It's
I would-
purple."
I would totally, if I did, I would probably get something with blue in it just because I love blue,
Yeah.
especially if they had like the metallic blue.
Yeah,
Oh.
midnight blue.
I'd love that.
Midnight metallic blue. That's a
you're just
good
gonna need to
color.
buy reflective.
Matter of fact, a good blue for that would be the I believe it's called Midnight Blue, but it's the Honda brand Midnight Blue that came on their 94, 96 Civics.
So specific.
Yeah.
I want the
'Cause
blue
I
that was on my
love that
uncle's,
blue.
like, what was it, like a 68 Camaro. Oh,
There you go.
that was sick.
Yep.
I don't know,
Yeah,
know when
I
got my
think the
cane,
canes are just I think it is a good idea to bring that kind of attention anyway because it is a good talking point. All my canes been black up until this point, so and I'm pretty sure Jason's is all blue.
I just have these regular like folding canes because I can't stand the non-foldable ones because they like you get in a car or a restaurant
Oh
and they're
my
always in the
gosh,
way. I hate
so
those things. Or like they call them the
inconvenient.
NFB canes. Oh, I can't stand
Yeah.
those things.
Oh, the straight canes. I have one.
I hate them.
I do not like those.
Biggest waste of time. I could see using that more specifically if you're gonna just take a walk or go
Yeah.
hiking.
Sure.
Hiking for sure because the echo that comes back from it and how lightweight it is
Oh, yeah.
really beautiful. But I would not travel with that.
No.
I did.
It
I-
really bothers me when people do that, like on purpose. When I have a friend that's like, I don't care, I can just put it like blah blah blah,
Yeah.
overhead or under the seat. I'm like, that's so inconvenient for everyone else.
My
Yeah.
first plane
Oh,
trip,
there's such a
I did
pain.
that with that cane, and yeah, it's literally laying along the like aisle. I mean, it's out of the aisle, but it's literally along the aisle. And I'm like, I don't know
Or
how he
like-
steps on it, like just doesn't snap,
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, I've tripped over them and like because they'll be laying on the ground and they're rounded, so like you step on them
roll
funny
on
and then
it.
they roll. So then you're like walking on rollers. It's like yeah.
Yeah.
What about when you go to a restaurant? It's like, here you go, Johnny. Put this with the coats. Thank you. Where do you put it? Where do you put a straight cane in a restaurant?
In a corner.
The umbrella stand, if they have it, I don't know. That's a good question.
Those things don't exist anymore.
And
I've
then
seen
you don't
them,
even have
actually,
your
I saw
cane
them
with you anymore because now you can't leave it at your table. So you gotta ask someone to put it somewhere. And now how do you leave your table if you need to go somewhere and you don't have your
Yeah.
cane?
Right.
That's a solid question.
Hurry up. I had too big of a burrito. Get my cane.
Oh my! Oh, there's some really good comments in the chat, by the way. Do you want me to read them?
Go for it.
Blind Toast says when I was doing side guy, they accidentally walked me into a parked car. How?
I've had that done many
So
times.
big. How?
A lot of times that's happened to me.
You'd be surprised. Sighted people, even for being sighted, they're not that observant.
No, they're not.
There, I
Earth
said
Magic,
it.
Earth Magic has one too. And a person once walked me into a center post between a set of double doors and broke her nose.
Oh no!
Ow!
So
Oh,
sorry.
no.
And you don't talk as a
Sucks
person
to be
anymore,
you.
right?
Did you make them
Oh,
pay
she's
for
7 or
the
8
price?
when that happened.
Damn.
Ow! That's some force, man.
Damn.
What'd you say, Nicole?
Oh, I said you got to make that person pay for the price.
Oh, yeah. Ugh. Oh, your nose is never going to be the same. Mm. I ran into a
Free
chain
nose
link
job.
fence and I have a scar on my nose, so being blind leaves scars.
Oh, I've run into many a tree branch at eye level.
Yep.
That's why you wear sunglasses.
Those guide wires
Yes.
that come off poles.
Honestly,
Sunglasses are great.
Oh yeah, those
concur.
the 80-degree wires that
Yep.
come off of a pole. Oh my! I've
The-
known
of a what
myself
now?
so many times on that thing.
On what?
Off of power poles and light poles. It's a guide wire. It's like a metal, thick metal
Oh,
wire. That goes all the way-
yeah.
I don't think
I've
I've
tripped
ever
over
ran
one
into
or
one of
3 of
those.
those.
I
Yeah.
Oh my
walked.
God.
I walked right down the middle of one. Just split myself.
Oh, man.
I don't know how my cane missed it. And this was actually on a lesson with my O&M instructor, so she was following behind me. And she's like, I don't know
hi.
how you missed that wire, but every single sweep you missed that wire.
God, freak accident.
Yeah.
Sounds painful.
And they can't tell you because
No.
the whole point
Yeah.
is you figuring it out on your own.
That's so sad.
I wonder what kind of funny, cool things O&M instructors have witnessed. They're probably like, you idiot, you're gonna hurt yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure all kinds.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting job.
I think it'd be a funny meme for somebody to make a blind person standing at one of those busy street performer corners out in San Francisco or something. So it's this blind person just standing there, kind of confused and not sure what's going on because there's a mime in front of them.
Oh God,
Oh.
it's
So that-
just dumb. So dumb.
That's pretty dumb.
Oh my God, mimes. There's more of those small hand gestures that I just can't see. Like, okay, well, you do you.
Are you okay down there? How many fingers am I holding up?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I hate that. That's 2 pet peeves. The how many fingers am I holding up, and do you know who I am?
Oh yeah.
Do you want to
What
feel
am I,
my
I wanna
face
break
to see
something.
what I look like?
Oh,
Oh.
the face thing.
I never anybody actually say that one to me. Thank God. Not yet.
I used to trick people
I
my
used to
first
get
year
a
in
lot.
college with the fingers. How many fingers am I holding up?
Yeah.
One of
Yeah,
my
I've got-
friends, we would make sure to only do this at night, and she'd be like, "Yeah, Nicole's not really like that blind. She can see like how many fingers you're holding up." And people would be like, "How many fingers am I holding up?" And she would put her fingers in my palm, and I would feel them, and I would like announce the number.
Sneaky.
There you go.
I don't think we ever told those people that I was
Nicole's a
not
cheater.
actually able.
They're just walking around thinking you're a big faker.
Now, on a more serious note, though, like one of the things that I wish I could see a little bit better as far as gestures, but I don't have a prayer. Having watched other people do it. Where I work, we work with blind, visually impaired, and of course, deafblind. And sign language would be a really cool thing to learn to be able to do, but I don't have a prayer of being able to see the subtlety of a lot of those gestures.
Yeah,
Well, they have touch.
They do. They do.
tactile sign language.
Yeah.
Yeah, tactile. Yep, they do.
That seems so hard just in itself.
Hey, Blind Guy Show. Greg is in the house.
What's up, Greg?
He was accidentally blocked on my channel. I don't know how that happened, but
Shame on you.
How do you block people from your channel?
I'm not telling you.
Why,
He's gonna
are you
block
scared
you
that
later.
I'm going to block you?
Nope. I'm going to create 100 accounts and just troll your channel.
Oh, that sounds like a lot of wasted
mean-
time.
Spam
You
them
already
with
have a
It's kinda
few
my
of
thought.
them, so
spam 'em with my
Ooh.
links.
Popular.
I've been getting ever since I had Playboy tagged in that video that I did a couple weeks ago talking about it. I've got about 90 something spam messages in my comment section of
oh
those
no.
types.
You.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
I knew there would be some sort of fallout from that.
ridiculous, and it's even worse. It's even worse on Twitter. I got over 300 follow requests, and they're all those things.
oh no. Yeah,
Yeah.
if it was cool followers, that'd be cool. You get an extra 300 cool followers, but you don't want
300 is a lot.
creeps like that.
So just don't ever tag Playboy people in Twitter.
Hadn't planned on it.
Unless you want some free
Me neither.
links, but
Me neither.
gosh.
Hadn't
Grow
planned
your
on
account
it.
quick with these tips.
I have a couple of trolls on my stuff, but it's
Now what's
mostly-
gonna happen when I have to tag blind porn or Pornhub when I do that story? What's
Oh,
gonna
I'll
happen
be waiting.
then?
no.
It's gonna be great.
Oh my!
When's that video coming out?
Yeah, right.
Whenever I
Nicole's
get
in.
somebody and her friend to review the category for me, like they said they would.
Oh,
I never said I would for sure.
Yeah, you did.
No, I didn't.
I got it recorded. I have everything recorded.
I said I could, but you didn't tell me if I should or shouldn't. Because I was just with her this past week.
Well, just so everybody knows in the chat, after this, like I said, it's scheduled. In about 10 minutes is the after show, which we'll be going over to that stream after this wraps up. Just so you guys know. And let's see what else. We got like what time is it? Yeah, like 5 minutes or so before we have to get
Yeah.
out of here.
We totally digressed from social cues. Well, we
talking about
also
social
talked about social cues, but not for work. That's okay.
we touched on the important bits.
Right, we did.
Oh, don't even chuckle at that. That was such low hanging fruit.
There's images.
I just realized I didn't even have dinner today. Oops.
Good
Too
job.
late now.
Standing in the wind says everything is recorded. That like
Everything's
screaming
recorded.
hands on face.
Yeah. Nowadays it pretty much is.
Well, that
It's like
wasn't
you almost have
bad.
to assume somebody's listening somewhere somehow.
Yes.
That's why whenever I go out, I just pretend the camera's always on.
Yep, you have to.
Everybody's like, "Why is that? What is that blind guy saying?" Everybody, turn your phones off. I have to pick my nose. Oh, there it is.
Oh, man.
Okay.
A blind person would go viral for picking their nose compared to like a sighted person. If a sighted person saw another sighted person picking their nose, they'd be like, "Ew, that person's gross." But if a blind person was doing it, they would take a picture and post it all over the internet.
I wonder if like a low vision person ever has an issue with confusing somebody flipping them off with picking their nose.
Oh. Do people flip people off with their hand in front of their face?
Yeah, it's like when you're aiming a gun, you're like, "Oh, got
I
you!"
mean, I kind of do, but not that close to my
That
face.
definitely
It's like
wasn't in front of your
this.
face, so.
But well, if you have some kind of vision impairment, maybe you don't have the depth
Like depth
perception.
Yeah.
I mean, I have crappy depth perception, but I probably just would think they're sticking their hand up. Yeah, I don't know.
You can tell when a
don't-
person's picking their nose, though. I have a friend that picks their nose all the time, and I always call him out. I'm like, "I know you're picking your nose. I can hear when you're
Ew.
talking. It's very obvious."
How's that coal mine going up there? And
That's a
here-
social cue topic right there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, how many-
inappropriate
oh my
behavior.
gosh,
Yeah.
I wonder how many people. See, that's why I'm saying, wouldn't it be great if everyone was blind? No one would know you're picking your or nose.
Apparently they would. Nicole says that's a lie.
Or sticking your you won't believe how many faces I give blind people at conventions.
That sounds like you.
Especially if they say something just really stupid. Or not talking to me in my face.
That's obnoxious too. I don't know. Is there a nice way to point that out to somebody who's been doing it their whole life? Because I'm not sure there is.
I don't know. Like, I've asked, because I didn't know in the beginning. Like, why are you not facing me when you're talking to me? I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, they just nobody ever told it.
No
which I
one.
think is a huge injustice.
Yeah.
That is.
Like, don't you want your kids to fit into society?
Like,
at
the
least
people in that
kind
person's
of.
life are so
Right.
wrong.
Yeah, agreed.
There's a great short book, everybody, if you're interested, and it's on audiobook. You can actually find it on YouTube as well. H.G. Wells put a short story out called Valley of the Blind. And it's a really fascinating short read. It'll only take a couple hours to read it.
Ooh.
I think I've read other H.G. Wells books, but I don't think I've read that one.
War the world.
Yeah, this is a book that not a lot of people know about, and like H.G. Wells, what? H.G. Wells, it's totally off the beaten path for him.
Yeah.
Okay. Check that out.
It's really cool. So I'm going to cue up the last part of the show, the outro. But go ahead and give you guys his information out. Oh, by the way, everyone's YouTube channel link is in the description box below. Even Independently Blind, even though he didn't show up, but whatever.
We're sad. Jason, where are you?
Jason, join us in the after show.
There you go.
No, he probably wouldn't. I feel like he's got a bedtime. I don't know. I don't mean that as like this. I just mean that.
It's Friday. What is he doing? Come on, he's only got like 12 kids.
He's watching a movie outside.
Come on.
He has his own drive-in. Now he has a scooter. He's living the life.
He is. I guess I'll go first then.
Yeah.
I'm Dani Marie AUC, you guys. If you haven't met me, I think most of you in the chat have. I have a website called Albinism Up Close if you're interested in any topics related to that. And my YouTube channel is Dani Marie AUC. So.
Next.
Okay, I'll go. I am Nicole Kada, and my channel name is Nicole Kada, last name Kada, by the way.
How do you spell that?
Please.
I mean, you said my name's Nicole Kada, and my channel is Nicole Kada. So how do you spell Nicole versus Nicole?
You know what, Whistler?
In the description, guys.
I'm just gonna not talk ever again.
You're up, Jesse.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you can find me various places around the internet, mainly youtube.com/illegally cited. You can also follow me on Twitter at BGFH79, or you can follow me on Twitch as well as illegally cited.
Awesome. Thanks the three of you for coming on again, once again. And also everybody in the chat, don't forget, stay tuned for the after show because my panel members will be back. And Nicole.
Wow.
I will email you guys the second link, so look for that.
Okay.
I'm not
See you,
looking
everybody.
for anything.
Fine, feel for it. Whatever. And exit stage left.
The other one.